How's it going, everybody? So, people understand the concept of need a tool, make a tool. And, well, I'm going through and stripping the bark off of this old oak tree so that it can be milled up into, solid oak boards. And I had an old floor scraper blade. It's either a floor scraper or roof scraper. And I needed a chisel. So I went through and reground the blade on this. It's not perfect. The blade itself has a bit of a cup to it, so the blade isn't perfectly straight. I don't know if you can see this, but it's good enough. I've been spending the past couple of days going through and stripping the bark off a little bit at a time. It's pretty time consuming work, but with a nice sharp blade it comes off much faster. You know, I have a chainsaw mill that I'm going to be milling this down with, and the mill isn't actually big enough to go top to bottom on this entire log. This is 31 inches on the narrow side, which is a pretty hefty tree. We had to cut it down because it was rotting at top and bottom, and after we'd cut it down we noticed that the middle portion was still good wood, so might as well not put that to waste. So it's been sitting here for give or take a year, drying out, and it's got some termites in it now, but that's not a huge deal. But I think I'll be able to mill out 20 inches. So what I'll do is I'll mill it down as far as I can go, and either flip it 90 or flip it 180 degrees and go through and mill the rest of it down. It depends on how many live edge boards I actually want to get out of it. But it's going, it's working, and let's get a look at how this works. With this, new tool, I have an edge ground on here so that if I want to chop off a little bit, I just and send stuff flying. I don't do that a whole lot because with this it's not exactly necessary. But what I do is get the blade just under the lowest portion of the bark and give it a couple of taps, pry it up, and just keep going. And it pulls off nice big chunks. Once I've got most of it off, I go through, press into it, and peel off the last little bits of bark. And doing this takes an inch and a half off of each side, so I'd be able to mill down probably another 2-inch board off of this tree, and from that I should be able to get some nice boards for future woodworking projects. I'll do something similar to this to go through and build or make fence material. It's gotten to be a little bit of a shame that most people haven't figured out that making bladed tools like this is simple. Like this, I picked up at a yard sale, I think 3 years ago now, and I've used this blade that I put on here as a bit of a hand hatchet, small machete, and this blade right here, it's usually a fairly steep grind. It's not, or shallow grind. I'm not entirely sure how that one works, but it's usually about a 45-degree angle. It's used for chipping up tile, chipping up, mostly tile, and has a nice long handle on it. I bought it with just the head. Never put, well, I had a handle on it for a little bit, trying to use it as a machete, and it didn't work. The handle's too thin for something like this motion, so I just use it as a handle right there. Works great as a machete, works great as a chisel, and it's going to be one of my more useful tools, at least for a while, because this whole tree, or this whole chunk of log, is going to be milled up, so I have to go through, strip off all of the bark, and bring it down to bare wood. It's a little dirty. Like I said, the termites have gotten into it, and they've done some damage to the bark and the outer layers of wood. But I have a mill, so I can get past that. That's all I got for this. Just remember, if you need a tool and you have a little bit of know-how, you just make it. It's not hard. Belt sander and a piece of steel is all you need to make this. Well, y'all have fun. Bye. If you like the videos that I've been making, please consider liking, subscribing. If you want to help out personally, I set up a Patreon, and the link will be in the description.